Hey everybody, it's the hump day. That's right, we're here. It is Wednesday, another great edition of Public Speaking in Business. I hope you've been enjoying all the tea, all things speaking that I've been serving from Monday, yesterday, and now today. And today is special because I have my first male interview. I've been doing a bunch of phenomenal women. Shout out to all the women. We know our women got it going on, but we need to
Yeah.
know that our men have it going on too. So I'm so glad that I have my first male guest today, and I hope this opens the door for many more males to come on, hit me in my DM, and find out how you can get on public speaking in business. Notice I said how to get on public speaking in business, not that get at me. Gotta stay focused. But yes, I'm definitely letting the doors of the church be open for men. You can come and join my wonderful platform. I do not bite. I am a very nice,
Mhm.
friendly person, and the world needs to know what you have to offer. Just like I have to let the world know about my Model Speakers Academy that's
Mhm.
launching next month, and I'm super excited about it. I want to help you motivate, organize, deliver, engage, and lead with your messaging. So that's what I'm ready to do, and that's what this public speaking and business has been doing, is
Mhm.
showing people that we need communication. Communication is key, regardless of what area you're in, from work, from home, your entrepreneurship journey, whatever it is, you can always get a little bit better when it comes to speaking, delivering your
Yep.
message. So, enough about me talking. Like I said, this is our first male interview. I'm so excited. Mr. Vondell Richmond, welcome. Tell the people about you.
Yes, absolutely, Doc. Man, I am so excited. Thank you for having me here on the public speaking and business. Is it a podcast, conversation, just all of that, man? Listen,
All
thank
things.
you. I have some big boots to fill, or some big stilettos, I guess, if I was tapping into my shoe game from what I paying attention to what the sisters do. I listen,
Oh,
brothers
good.
listen. That's part of communication, knowing how to speak about
Right.
red bottoms and all that stuff when the time comes. But yes, I'm super excited to be here and thank you for having me. And so, my story, we're going to get more into. I'm so excited to get to the people, but in a nutshell, my story is one from homelessness to holding a key to the city of Clarksville, Tennessee. And so in 2015, as Will Smith stated, 2008, excuse me, my life got turned flipped upside down. There was no couple of guys that were up to no good. It was just the economy tanked. And I say that, me and the economy had a boxing match and it Mike Tysoned me. So I lost everything in that downturn. But God, and so from the opportunities to speak and from the opportunities to coach and having great communication skills, little by little, God began to rebuild my life. And the first place I landed professionally after that, I did the ride share and things like that. But a major milestone was that I got an opportunity to serve on city council in Clarksville, Tennessee. So I served with the mayor. And most people don't know this, but at the time I was living at home with my parents at 40 something years old, late 40s, and just, trying to remove the rubble out of my life. But to be honest, Doc and audience, it was looking back, it was the capacity of communication. Um, the short of that was my pastor, I had raised my hand to lead a Dave Ramsey financial peace class. Ironic, right? Dealing and struggling with finances, but I was raising my hand to serve in our church. And through that interaction, my pastor saw me every week say, "Hey, there's nobody here in class, but I can't talk to you now, Pastor. I'm going to get on Facebook Live to get some people in my class." And so through that opportunity, I got a call from our associate pastor who said, "Hey, Vondell, there's an opportunity for city council that came open, and pastor just has me calling through the database here at the church. And your name is first because you live closest to the church at the time." And then my pastor hopped on 5 minutes later and said, "Hey, Vondell, you've done an amazing job here as a leader. Um, why don't you just pray about it?" And it was that conversation that led to a series of other conversations. But I do believe what they were seeing is my ability to communicate a purpose, communicate who I was, even the way I probably communicated, I imagine, about my life circumstances. It wasn't a woe is me kind of communication. It was an empowering, hey, this happened. So
Right.
what? That's just what's so. But here's the vision that I was able to communicate of where I'm believing, doors in God to open for me to move next. So I was able to serve on city council and was able to connect with a lot of people. We can get into it of where my confidence was and wasn't, but where my confidence was in my ability to communicate a vision, my heart. and what I saw for people. And so those skills is what allowed me to move forward. So it's a very appropriate topic.
Wow. Well, thank you for your transparency and about
Sure.
your story, because I believe every test does set us up for a testimony. And I
Absolutely.
think also what shined through was your consistency. Even when nobody else showed up, you still
Yeah.
showed up for yourself. And that's what we have to do. A lot of times people are waiting for someone else to open that door or to give them that okay. But you know what? You got to build your own table. You have to be willing to, I'm going to show up and
Absolutely.
talk and believe in myself, even if nobody else does.
Even if,
So
or
that's
even when I'm doubting myself, and that's really
right.
what it was. Because I
Mhm.
mean, you can imagine you're feeling like, I remember it was real spiritual warfare at one point, because the
Mhm.
enemy was just kind of reminding me of all the things that, from my perspective, that I had failed at per se, and it
Mhm.
was just my ability to kind of clap back, if you will, and say, no,
Right.
I'm still standing on business. I'm still a believer, and this is
Right.
how it's going to go down. And so it definitely was those business skills that kept me afloat. As a matter of
Mhm.
fact, I just got into the community. And one of the things that I think I heard a great definition of what a leader is, and I believe it applies to business as well, because business
Mhm.
entrepreneurs are just leaders. They said
Right.
leadership is managing uncertainty.
Mm.
Leadership is the ability to manage uncertainty.
Right. Because we never
Yeah,
know. Things are never certain in entrepreneurship, and
absolutely.
you could be up today, down tomorrow, and vice versa. You could be down today,
Yeah,
but be up tomorrow. So it's very,
yeah,
very, not stable, so
yeah,
you have to be
yeah.
willing to flow and be fluid and just kind of take it as it comes, but still keeping that right attitude and the right mindset to help with
And
the ebbs and flows.
yeah, and I guess this is something we don't think about. I think when they see amazing courses and programs and coaches like yourself that talk about public speaking, we talk about public speaking, but I feel like a lot of what the first challenge of communication success that entrepreneurs have to deal with is that internal dialogue, what's going on privately.
Mm,
So there's
right.
some private communication that you have to tackle before you can get up the opportunity to then go speak publicly. So I
Yeah.
believe if they get into your program, they're going to learn how to do that as well, because the internal private conversation is just as important as the public one.
And sometimes it might be even more powerful because as a man think of is how he believes
So
what he would do,
absolutely.
And so if I keep talking myself out, if I keep letting that broken record playing of failure, disappointment,
Yeah.
setbacks, stinking thinking, and I never, silence that, throw that
Yeah.
record away and play a new song,
Come
I'm
on.
gonna be stuck and I'm not even gonna attempt. So you're
Right.
right. We have to definitely conquer the voice within and get
Absolutely.
our mindset and realize that all things are possible through Christ. And we got to keep going regardless of what
Yeah.
life hands us. We have to still
Yeah.
be resilient and fight back. And so, wow, that was, like I said, a powerful and amazing opening. So let me just dive into the first question.
Okay.
Why do you believe public speaking is a crucial skill for business professionals today?
Yeah. Now, if you see me looking at my phone, audience, I got notes on here because we prepared. So don't think I'm checking. He was checking his text all this time.
No.
It's where we at. Yeah. So that's a great question, and what I was looking at was, or why I believe that public speaking is a critical skill for business professionals, is the first place I landed when I saw that your question was TEDx. It's like,
Mm,
what an industry, an entire small event at, I believe it was in Massachusetts at one of the colleges, either I think it was at MIT or somewhere like the Harvard, one of the Ivy Leagues up in the Massachusetts market.
okay.
Started this whole platform, this whole movement started with of them being able to just go share ideas. And if we
Mhm.
look, some of the greatest minds and some of the greatest concepts and some of the greatest innovators, both on a grand scale and now a regional scale, because of TED and TEDx, the TED Talks, that has opened up the window and of opportunity for anyone who has a great idea to share. So that's why I believe public speaking is such a critical skill. Number one, it opens doors.
Yeah.
If you look at podcasts nowadays, that industry has just, the seams have burst. The industry has burst wide open. And it used to be you had to get invited to be on the radio. Back in the day, you had to wait for a public TV appearance. You had to call the news. But now more than ever, it's such a pivotal right now skill that if you have it, you can open up an entire business.
Right.
You can hop on a platform like this. So being able to control your message,
Hmm.
being able to share your ideas, being able to attract people to learn your story, that's why I believe public speaking is uh, such a crucial skill for business professionals.
Right. And I love how you said, open up doors, because there's so many things
Absolutely.
that can happen from a conversation. On a talk I had, I want to say either yesterday or Monday, I was just mentioning how a lady was in the bathroom at some event washing her hands, and
Hmm.
she spoke with someone, and they had exchanged some pleasantries. She didn't think nothing of it, and we exchanged contact. That lady contacted her like 3 weeks later, offering her to speak at an event that she was in control of hiring the speakers. So what if she would have been
Mm,
standoffish, quiet, didn't say anything, kind of kept her head down? She would have missed the opportunity. So we don't know
absolutely.
what's on the other side of our yes, of our opening our mouths up to speak, to talk, to be open to communicate.
Man, I got so when you said that, all these fireworks went off, and I didn't do the math. If I was a good prepared speaker, I would have did the math, but I don't know how to keep up with that number. But that's one of the things I started thinking. I said, God, and I used to say this to people when they told me I talk too much. So this is to encourage all those individuals, and then even the introverts. I don't want to leave you out. So whether you talk a lot or whether you talk a little, what we're
Mhm.
talking about is the power and strength of ideas.
Mhm.
Case in point. Um, Conversation. I was looking at that and said, what is the real monetary value of one conversation? Well, two come to mind that I want to share, and then we can move on. There was a summer that when I was in undergrad that I wanted to just leave Greensboro. I went to school at North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride, to all my Aggies watching. And I just thought, I don't want to be here this summer. So what do I want to do? And I literally called a buddy of mine who was in grad school at Ohio State, and I said, Jelani, what you doing this summer? He said, I'm gonna be an RA at Upper Bound, and I'm like, what is Upper Bound? Here I am, totally out of school, never heard of Upper Bound. So when he told me, I thought I should have been in that program as a high school student. Well, the watch this. The conversation he told me about who hired him. I called this gentleman, had one conversation, and it took me from having no job that summer to opening up an entire stream of income for every summer for the rest of my life. It ended up, I spoke to the director. He said, I need teachers in this area, or I don't need RAs, any more RAs, but I need instructors. And I said, well, what do you
Mhm.
need, taught? So he said, math, science, all that. And I said, I teach none of that. He said, well, what do you teach? And I said, well, I'm not really a teacher, but I'm majoring in theater. And because of what I was passionate about in that moment, I hadn't rehearsed this. But in that
Mhm.
moment, I just said, hey, I like directing, and I would love the opportunity to direct your students in a play. He said something that I never anticipated. He said, send me something. I got off the phone and thought, I don't want to teach 16-year-olds how to memorize lines in the middle of the summer. That's going to be a hard task, but what would I like to do instead? So I thought, I wrote a play about the estranged relationship between me and my father. And because I was able to communicate that as a script,
Mhm.
that opportunity turned into a $3,000 given to me that summer for my class notes. Now, why is that significant? Because that 3 grand multiplied over every summer, and to date, I've probably made well over 70 plus thousand. Now, that I did add up one time to say how much
Mhm.
money did that one conversation lead to? And it was that
Wow.
ability to speak publicly, to sell my idea, to
Wow.
communicate and pivot in that moment. Even though he offered this, we began to negotiate ideas, and the
Mhm.
outcome was this 70 plus $1,000 opportunity. And I just always said that's how I stumbled into entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
So it's a
Wow.
real big conversation, for real, for real.
Yeah, and I love how you said, you were able to he said one thing, that's not what was, good at particularly, or that was your
Right.
specialty, but you were able to communicate what you were good at and still was able to sell it. And so that's a good thing about communication as well, or the art of being able to communicate is being able to exchange ideas and even be able to advocate for yourself,
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
art of, powerful discussions, or, how to communicate,
Mm,
how to be able to not necessarily have arguments, but how to, speak and, have different point of views, but still be able to articulate your point of view and get your desired
absolutely.
end. And many people don't
Absolutely.
like to, they call it confrontational. Or they don't like to, ruffle feathers
No.
or rock the boat, or, they're like, oh, well, all he wants is math teachers. Oh, all he wants is science. No, but
Right,
what are you good at? Go
right.
ahead
What
and
do you
speak
want to
up
do?
for yourself. What do you want to do? Not even taking the time to think and be able to say, well, no, I can't do this, but let me offer you this. And so
Right.
a good communicator knows how to still sell their points or be able to, share what they are good at because they're familiar with it. So we should always have that information kind of ready to be able to advocate for ourselves.
Absolutely. And yeah, and then the other conversation happened, or the other opportunity was just most recently. I have, I'm just I'm gonna talk about myself. I ain't talking about y'all watching, but all of us say we're gonna have content. We're gonna have a YouTube channel. So even though my YouTube channel is there, and I'm sharing this to encourage those who feel like I don't have a lot of time. First of all, stop the glorification of busy and take just one step. And here's what will happen when we take that one small step. So I just made one video that someone
Mhm,
else just like this interviewed me about in my role as a realtor, which is what I do currently. And in that role as a realtor, someone interviewed me about, it was a show called The Best Place to Live.
mhm.
And I just talked about, Clarksville and my time on city council and connected all to real estate. Do you know, Doc, that this woman from Georgia saw that YouTube video, called me, and left me this 5-minute long message? I mean, the power of communication. Talk about that. This woman was talking as if she knew me. And we
Wow.
had been friends for years. And she was, she had
Mm,
a cool country Georgia accent. Vondell, I saw your video. She said, I saw you were a senator. I was like, not that big. I was city council,
just
but this is
speaking.
in her mind. Yeah, she said, and I want to move to Clarksville and I want you to sell my house. And that one conversation ended up
Wow.
being not one, but two transactions. Her
Mm,
selling her old house in Georgia, which was a $600,000 listing, and
mm,
then her purchasing a $400,000 home um, in her neighborhood because she was downsizing, and not
mhm.
one, but two checks because of the ability to have a conversation as you're advocating and share your ideas. So
Wow.
I mean, it's out here, guys. And I just think that if you're not feeling confident, Doc, smack me on the head if I'm overstepping my bounds here, but they need to come holler at you. They need to
Yeah,
come
they need to
holler at
come
you.
on.
Get
Yeah.
in your public speaking course, get over
Yes.
yourself,
Yes.
because the confidence is what I believe is what's missing from a lot of speaking opportunities.
Absolutely, because you have to be confident in yourself. You need to be to the point where you can sell water to a well. You need to be able to, really, really just offer the world like what I have is the next best thing since sliced bread. Like if I don't
Yeah,
believe it, if I can't really win you over with emotion and appeal and really show you how proud or
yeah,
how happy I am about this thing, you're not going to believe it. So you have to
yeah.
believe it first before the person you're trying to reach believes it. So we have to be our own hype men, our own cheerleaders,
Come on.
and learn that confidence because that's what's going to sustain us. We have to be able to say, hey, regardless of what, I'm going to put a smile on my face and I'm going to,
Yeah,
talk about it like it's the best thing because guess what? It is. If that's what you're passionate about, if that's what your gift is, then give it to the world like it is a present and just
absolutely.
share it and be happy and proud of it because happiness is contagious. That emotion is contagious. And so you have to almost lend your emotion, lend your excitement to the person so that they can
Come
buy
on.
into it. So that's what it's about. So you're right, having that confidence because it got you, like you said, that job that summer that multiplied multiple summers and got you to sell a house and purchase a house that you would not
Right.
have done if you hadn't been open to speaking so someone could find your information. We're in this
Absolutely.
digital society, the internet, we can connect with anybody across the world. And so
Anywhere at
many of
any
us are
time.
not using it. It's like
Yeah.
use your
Yeah.
own platform. You don't have to wait on somebody to invite you on. Get you a
Come on.
microphone, get you a computer, get whatever you need to get. If you got the internet, then you got your business. Make it
You got a
happen.
whole business. Right, right, right. Wow.
Yeah, so that was excellent
Ooh.
sharing those points. So my next one is can you share a personal experience, but you kind of have where effective public speaking impacted your career or business?
Wow. Well, yeah. So, well, that's not those were extras. Those were bonuses because the one that I thought about a time when it did was back again. I'm homeless. I'm living in New Jersey. Trying to figure things out. And I had launched one of those direct sales. I sold coffee. I had a little coffee business online. So
Okay.
I'm combing the computer trying to find how to generate leads, how to find people to buy the coffee. I stumbled across this affiliate marketing platform that kind of did that helped me do the leads. Well, anyway, fast forward, I made my first couple $100 doing that, but it was the conversation that followed with my coach that led
Mm,
to the more money than I ever made in my whole life. Turns out that the coach that they assigned me in the program was also a graduate of a leadership training that I had done called, it was a transformative leadership called Landmark
okay.
Education. And he had just finished this leadership program that I had just finished. And that conversation, one thing led to another. I told him
Mm,
I was interested in coaching. He connected me to the owner of the company. And
mm,
so that was a personal experience that led me to be able to become what's called a sales consultant. They called us coaches, but we really was selling programs.
mhm,
So that opportunity, I got an interview, worked my way onto the coaching team, was able to close sales. And we're not talking like small sales. We're talking like, high end coaching products that range anywhere on the lowest product for $297 up to 15 to 35 to $55,000. And you're talking about earning commissions on those. And then
mm,
that opportunity led to being able, this was pre-COVID, being able to go into what's called sort of event trainings. And at
mhm,
the event trainings, the ability to speak from the stage and tell people, come see me as a coach, obviously to solve their problems as entrepreneurs and then get them into those programs. At minimum, every time I did that in a weekend, I could come home, Doc, with 10K. And I remember the very first time that I came home with having a $14,000 weekend. That's when I saw the power, the true financial
mm.
monetization of this mouth. So that is a time where that personal experience and being effective at public speaking
Mhm.
really paid off in a tangible way in dollars and cents into my bank account.
Wow, that's great. And so, yeah, many people don't realize that if you're good at public speaking, if you're able to communicate, able to sell, be persuasive,
Hmm.
have
Hmm.
that emotional appeal, yes, you can make money, you can monetize it. And the key
Yeah,
thing is you have to have that passion because I think people can tell if you're passionate about something or not. So if you can share that
absolutely.
passion and really, really be convincing and, know it like the back of your hand, then yeah,
Yeah,
you're able to make money. And so that's something that, I've done, and I haven't done a lot of it just because my life has been busy. But
it's coming.
I enjoy speaking. Thank you. And it's
It's
funny for all the
coming.
children or students that used to get talkative, talk too much in class. Hey, maybe your next thing is to be a speaker. Maybe
This
that's what
this
you
is
need to
that
do.
opportunity. Yes,
Yeah, don't
yeah. This
suppress that
this
talking.
this is it. So that's one of many experiences. I wrote down, another one. So my background is in acting. So I went to school for theater,
Okay.
and of course, public speaking as a creative, looks a little bit differently.
Mhm.
So going to an audition, that's a type of public speaking. So
Right.
learning those skills of how to stand flat-footed, communicate, and convey a message also led to me ending up on tour with Bishop T.D. Jakes. You know,
Wow.
um, Another opportunity prior to that was I got a chance to. I don't know how many people. Donald Lawrence and Hezekiah Walker and Coca-Cola used to do this tour called this gospel music tour called "How Sweet the Sound," and I wrote
Okay.
that one down as well because again, here was an opportunity where I literally was trying to market this film that I had done, and I saw a newspaper ad with it was like McDonald's Gospel Fest, and I was like sitting there at the
Mhm.
kitchen table saying, "God, how do I get this level of marketing? This level of positioning to where I have people of influence, endorsing the product, the film that you gave me." And the next
Right.
thing I knew was at church, just talking to people in my network. There was a young lady who said, "Hey, we're looking for Christian comedians."
Oh.
Now, I had never done comedy at that point in my career, but I wanted to get into it. But because I had a winsome personality, I
Hmm.
knew my brand, and my mission, which is something else you need to get into. Doc's, I don't know if I'm pointing to the right side on
Yeah.
yeah, on the screen. It's that way. But knowing my brand positioning, Really able to say, hey, God put me on this planet for the purpose of providing life-changing information through education, entertainment, and personal encouragement. That when that opportunity came along, it was like that Mary Martha connection, when they said, the mother of Jesus and the mother of John met, the baby leaped. So her
Mhm.
telling me that, my ear catching that, I can't remember the conversation in between, but I ended up going to this particular building that she invited me to in New York, and walked out of there and went on tour like around the nation, riding a tour bus like a rock star, all because of this ability to speak publicly.
Wow.
And it was ironic because one of the things that the job they hired me for was, and the reason they wanted a comedian, they didn't want a comedian to tell jokes. They wanted somebody, as the old 80s, MC used to say, move the crowd. I
Right.
was the host of a game app that Verizon was rolling out. And so every night before the concert began, I would be in the concourse having fun, just being myself, playing games with the audience, and then
Mm.
getting paid weekly every week, and then hopping on a tour bus doing this around the country. So public speaking has been very good for business and just my personal ability to experience life on another level.
Wow. And being ready to articulate when it's time to do it.
Yes.
Opportunities knock, you have to be ready to open that door. So, wow,
Yes.
that is amazing. So, you are a rock star touring the world. That's, I'm learning so
Traveling
much
like a
more.
rock star.
Wow. So, let me go to the next question. What are some
Okay.
common public speaking challenges that business professionals face, and how can they overcome them?
Yeah. So I made a list of about 10,
Okay.
me and Chatty GPT. And I just wanted to check it against what I was already thinking. So fear and anxiety, of course, is the number
Mm.
one. There's 10 of them. I can read the list and then I drill down on three. So
Okay.
fear and anxiety, lack of confidence, not knowing how to engage, wanting to be clear, so clarity, time management,
Mhm.
handling Q&A, the ability to kind of work through that. Technical issues, like you said, they can go and hop online like this, but if you have a fear or an apprehension about technology, ladies and gentlemen, stop fighting it. It is here. Tech is here to stay.
Yes.
Learn it,
Yes.
empower it, or if you don't know how to do it, outsource your cringe. If this ain't
Yes.
your cake, you don't like eating it, outsource it, but do not let it be a stumbling block. Um, Adapting to different audiences,
Mm.
that's a major one. Body language and presence, and then storytelling. And
Okay.
so, of those, the top three were fear and anxiety, lack of confidence, and storytelling are the top three challenges I believe majority of us face as public speakers. And fear and anxiety. One of the things I used to tell my students, I used to teach, I taught at Rutgers for 12 and a half years. One of the things I used to say, it just came to me one day when I was thinking about a young child, what is fear? The Bible tells us to fear not. And I just said, one day I said it might have been in prayer, but I remember saying it to my class, you have to scare your fears with information.
I
And
like that.
yeah, you have to scare your fears. And what I mean by that is if you take a little child, why don't they go into a dark room?
There's a boogeyman's in there, a
The
monster.
boogeyman, it's a monster, it's dark. But when
Right.
the adult turns on the light, they
Mm,
expose that gurgling sound was not a monster growling like you saw in Monsters Inc.
yeah.
That was the fridge motor that's going out.
Right.
Those beady eyes that you thought you saw is the clock across the room.
Mm-hmm.
So now the child says, and another adult comes along and says, oh no, don't go in there. The child says, oh no, there's no monster. That's just a refrigerator.
Yeah.
The child is informed. And so, how does that apply to us as speakers? We don't know what we don't know. But in other words, whatever apprehensions and fears and anxieties you have, scare that with training. Scare
Mm-hmm.
that with the information of your network, talking to you, talking to people like me, getting around those who've done it before.
Mm-hmm.
And then while you're doing all that, you definitely have to learn how to tell a dynamic story.
Right.
I think
Wow.
that's the number one challenge. I think a lot of us have a lot to say. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we just don't know how to say it, how to structure our thoughts, to say it in a
Wow.
way that engages people.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, those are all excellent, but I like that quote. And so I'll try to give you credit when I say it. Scare your fears with information because you're right. Because
Yeah,
a lot of times we fear the unknown. And a lot of
absolutely.
times we worry about things that don't even happen, because
Don't
I
even
know,
happen.
right. I know an acronym for fear has been called false evidence appearing real.
That's
So it's
it.
not real, it's false. And
It's
so
all
when you
false.
counteract that with the facts, the true information,
Right.
then you can get past that. Like, oh, I was worried about the wrong thing. I was afraid of the
Right.
wrong thing.
Right. Didn't
So
even
that was
happen. Half the stuff, and that's true. Half the stuff we be imagining didn't even go like that.
right. And so you got yourself all worked up, all anxious, you're
For
hiding out,
now.
and it's not even real. So yeah, so we have to really get the information and facts, empower ourselves, and then get the help. If storytelling
Yeah.
isn't your thing, then yeah, hire a coach, get with somebody, join the Model Speakers Academy, get with somebody who can
Yes.
help you craft your story, because we all have a story to tell. We all have a
Absolutely.
message. We've all had experiences, and with the right type of structure, with the right type of guidance, we can turn those messages into powerful stories. And so we just got to have
Absolutely.
extra push or that extra help, but it's available, but we got to be willing to go get it.
Yeah.
So, wow, that was excellent. So, my last question is, what is one essential tip you would give to someone looking to improve their public speaking skills?
Get a coach. That's the tip.
Okay.
I gave you the last mic drop. Facts, facts sells. Facts tell, stories sell. Get a coach.
Right.
Hone your ability to tell stories. Everything that you've gone through in your life is nothing but an opportunity to vet out and flesh out the story. And so I believe, get a coach. And why do I say get a coach? Coaches help us win, ladies and gentlemen. Bottom line,
Right.
no matter
Right.
what sport you play, what's the coach's job? Get a championship ring, get a gold medal. We just came out the Olympics.
Right.
Each one of those athletes had a coach. And
That's
so
right.
if you are in your life and you're not where you want to be, I would probably connect it to you have no accountability, you have
Mm,
no clear cut goals, you have no pathway to get what it is you envision for yourself. And I'm just going to be honest, you can't do that alone.
mm-mm.
If you think about it, cows can't even eat grass by themselves because the farmer has to put them in a pasture in a field
Right.
that has the most lush grass of whatever the farmer's goal is he's trying to accomplish. If you're trying to get
Right.
beef, you got to feed them a certain kind of meal. They trying to get
Right.
milk, they got to feed them a certain thing. They have to
Right.
have the conditions conducive for that end goal to be fulfilled. So get you a coach. Let the coach reduce your years down to months and days. And
Right.
that's really the one essential tip that I would have. I would not be where I am today without the assistance and without the holding me accountable to my greatness of
Mhm.
all of my coaches. So
Right.
yeah, that's really the main difference. And I got a coach to teach me how to tell those stories. So everything
Wow.
that I've done here today, as much as you think it's just me, nope, I take no credit. It was God when I talked to Him in prayer, opening up opportunities and doors and spaces for me to bump into that coach. There I was homeless. I didn't know nothing about online lead generation. I didn't know anything about
Mhm.
online marketing, how to get a coffee business. I'm just trying to grow my business. And what happened? God opened up an opportunity. The exact coach that I got was the exact person who just finished the program that I had come from, was the exact
Wow.
person that used to roommate with the owner of the company. They were buddies, and that individual opened up the door, my coach, for me to have a greater conversation that led to that income opportunity.
Wow. Yeah. And so y'all heard it here. Vondell said it. You need to get a coach no matter what area,
No
what
matter
you're
what
trying
you're
to do.
doing.
We all need a coach, somebody who can see for us. They can see ahead. They know the experiences. They can help us out. They can, like you said, shorten our time. Why take years
Yeah,
to do something that you can do in months or even weeks because you didn't have the knowledge, you didn't have the information. We're in the information society. You can get free
absolutely.
information or paid information, but the point is you just need to acquire information. But we have to be willing to invest in ourselves. And many times people want stuff for free. And let's just be honest,
Mm-mm,
people don't always value what is free or what's easy
mm-mm.
to get. So sometimes you have to be willing to invest in yourself to get the returns and to get that speed to get done quicker. Because why do we
Yeah,
waste time when we can get things done and you could be further along on your journey? So that's
yeah.
that's that you call it a mic drop. Get you a
Yeah,
coach,
yeah. Get you a
someone.
coach, and get you several coaches. Get you a
Right.
public speaking coach. Get you. I believe you need to have a coach in all five these areas: spiritual, physical, financial, relational, professional. You need
Wow.
coaches in all five of those
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's excellent. Yes, we definitely need coaches because we can't see it all. We can't do it all. We don't have that
mm-mm,
capacity, but there are people
no,
who can guide us and help us. So we need to tap into that. So I just want to thank you so much, Vondell, for coming on today. I
absolutely.
really
Thank
enjoyed our
you.
conversation. And if you all are watching this and this is the replay, put hashtag replay because Vondell dropped some serious nuggets in here. And I want you
Thank
to
you.
go back and get those coaches he suggested. Make sure that you're willing to speak up for yourself and work on how to communicate your needs. And that could be business, for that promotion, whatever it is. If you want to get to that next level, you got to be able to communicate it. It's not going to fall in your lap. It's not going to knock on your
Right.
door. You got to be willing to get it. And the best way to do that is through proper communication. And guess who's here to help you also? The Model Speakers Academy. So I'm going to have all the great information that Vondell mentioned on this message. So definitely you want to watch it and tag somebody who needs to hear this message as well. So Vondell, give us a way to follow you, stay in contact,
Okay.
and give us what's going on, what you may have coming up. We want to be in all things Vondell.
Okay. I just wanted to say this real quick. Thank you for having me. But as you was talking, I just thought about Coach ET. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe. That's just I had to get
Right.
that out.
Okay. Okay. Glad you got it out. That's
Right.
true.
So that's what you have to do. But yes, so how to find me. So currently, I'm currently a 5-star rated real estate agent, a realtor with Keller Williams. And I am based out of Tennessee and Maryland, but I can help you, coach you to get a home anywhere in the continental USA or abroad. So if you're looking to invest, and you can find me on all of your basic social media channels. So right there in my name here, my lower third is what they call it. At Vondell R is my Instagram handle, and it's pretty much the same way on TikTok. You'll see me on there, not shaking my butt, doing twerking like all the other people. I won't do that. Actually, I need to step up my TikToker game. But I am on the major platforms: LinkedIn,
Okay.
YouTube, Facebook. So you can just Google my name at Vondell R, and you can find me that way. All right.
All right. Well, thank you again for having. Well, I want to thank you for having me, but thank you so much for being here, sharing your insight with me. And
Thank
again,
you.
everybody, this is a video you want to watch and get some notes and jot some things down because we definitely share some key things to help you get to
Absolutely.
the next level.
Absolutely.
So y'all enjoy your lunch, and I'm coming back at 2 p.m. with another great talk. So don't miss it.